What is up, guys? It is SpotTheOzzie for Motorsport Manager round number 9 of season number 2, and we are currently in the midst of setting up for our first race of today because I have not played it since yesterday. So if you're checking it out, here's our grid. We've got Anna, Evans, Vennen and Valdez. Who do you think is going to win in all these races? Rogers, Gatto, El Sadat, Diaz, Cavalcanti, Shah, Antonov, Gerard, and as you can see, we are all the way at the back of the field with Alice Wood and Ahmed Delatev because it is a reverse grid. We do not have qualifying in the Asian Tier 3 series when you start for Motorsport Manager. Tyler is literally 1 point ahead of Delatev, and we are running two very different strategies. Wood on 4 laps and Delatev on 5 laps because as you can see in the forecast, it does get wet after about lap 2 to 3, so we want to keep an eye on that, minimize our fuel usage, possibly go to intermediate tyres to pit if we have to. So we're already underway, and I'm going to slip both drivers into an aggressive strategy because, like I said, these tyres have about 7 to 9 laps of performance, so we are only going to plan to use these for about 4 to 5 laps on each car, so you may as well get the most out of it by aggressively driving at the start of the race. And we have gone off to a really bad start, but that's not, that's not rare. That happens quite a bit, given the fact that our car is down on power compared to the rest of the field. It is the 6th fastest car in the field. So of the 10 teams, it is the 6th fastest car. So we're going to struggle while all the cars around us are dominated by superior machines. We're just hoping that at the front we get a bit of a train all the way down the field. As you can see, that was 1 lap. That's a very quick lap. Lap times around here are only 1.5 minutes. The track, if you can see on the top right hand corner, it kind of looks like Monza. Very fast indeed. And Senna Anna already has a gap as Evans pulls up the field, letting Anna get away for Predator Team Racing. Wood goes up 1 position to Stramby. I'm not going to do team orders at this stage. I want both of them to drive as fast as they possibly can. Delatev catching under brakes, and Wood now getting passed again by Costa and Stramby. Where we're going to find our position or our track fit, to gain a couple of positions is when we do the first round of pit stops. We generally want to open up 1 lap more than the rest of the field if we can, simply because we'll get a lap of free air before we have to come into the pits and hopefully jump a few people while they go in for their stops a little bit earlier while that track gets freed up. And Wood dives down around the outside, and that's a good move. Ahmed trying to follow and do the same here. As you can see, there's a bit of a power difference. Ahmed gets in the slipstream. He goes around the outside. Nope, he gets swamped. So does Wood, and Stramby goes through under brakes. Wood now struggling for pace with the field around as well. And it is starting to rain. As you can see, that is exactly what we thought was going to happen. So we want to last 1 more lap. I think the tyres are good to go 1 more lap. We don't want to go in too early because we still want to push the tyres as far as they possibly can go. So I might start pushing Wood as soon as she crosses the line and I know how many laps of fuel she has in order to push. Let's leave that out for 1 more lap, and following that, Ahmed will follow in the pits as well. So what's the field going to do? No one goes in the pits yet. Everyone's going to hold out. Wood, I'm going to put onto a high fuel usage, try and get the most out of it. Wood moves up in the 16th position, so she's not doing too bad at the moment. I'm going to pit. Intermediate tyres, fuel option. Let's go to about 5 laps. I think 5 laps good for that window. That's because we can only see about 4 laps in the future, because if it does dry out, we don't want to be out there too long. It's going to be a fast pit stop. Park condition, we're looking good in terms of our reliability of our components. And that's going to be the go. So Delatev at the moment also fighting for that position. It's a bit of a train wreck at the moment. We just want to get ahead enough of this little battle pack so we can start freeing ourselves up and catching away. Well, in the meantime, Anna is kind of jumping a little bit away, and Vennen is on the trail. And there's a huge gap. Look at that gap. It's down to 13 seconds from the first 2 back to 3rd. And that's a bit of a concern for us, but it looks like everyone's affected by that. So let's see how many people come into the pits. Ahmed says he wants to come into the pits, but I'm not going to let him because I don't want to double stack him behind Wood. Pushing him back an extra 5 to 6 seconds on Wood's pit stop would be devastating in terms of, the reality of him going in 1 lap later. So he's definitely not going to lose 6 laps by doing an extra lap here, which is what we want. Looks like Wood's strategy was good. It's going to be 6 laps of fuel, so it's 1 lap of fuel more than what we asked for, but that's alright. Going to continue to attack because those tyres last for about 7 to 9 laps as well. And as for Ahmed, we're going to go into overtake mode, get him into the pits, intermediates. Everything looks good. We always check that everything looks good. That's what I always do to make sure the components are good. We don't want to blow up an engine just because we were reluctant to check. So Delatub moves into first place. Everyone pitted. Everyone pitted. So let's see who comes out. Everyone obviously pitted because of the weather change. Now it's going to be interesting to see where he comes out. He might jump a few people because I feel like half the field would have double stacked, and that's why Wood's coming out in 10th after that pit stop, because half the field would have had to have double stacked behind their teammate, respectively. And Wood now struggling a little bit and getting swamped. Looks like there's been a mistake with the fuel. It's going to cost us a little bit. But Ahmed finally getting out of the pits. Bit of a slow stop, half a second was lost. And we're going to come out in 3rd position, so that was a risk worth taking. Letting Ahmed do another lap while the rest of the field kind of sorts itself out did pay dividends, and we are on the podium. We've jumped pretty much the entire field with all that kerfuffle happening. That's great for us. Charles going to be on the attack though. Senna Anna, it's only a 7-set gap, so we have definitely won here in terms of catching up to the rest of the pack. How is Wood going up? Wood currently fighting her way up into 10th position from originally 12th when we last looked. Let's see how she goes. Under brakes through Rogers. Will she make the pass stick? No, she doesn't. And that's going to be a battle for 9th spot. And there will be a bit of a gap between her and Antonov, who's a bit further up the road. So if she can jump Wood, she might be able to put a little bit of pressure onto the next spot. Let's have a look at the field. Senna Anna coming first. Van Annen 3rd. Ahmed Delatub 3rd, Shah 4th, Cavalcante 5th, Valdez 6th, Jafus 7th, Antonov 8th, Rogers 9th, and then Wood rounds off the top 10. So, Wood, was she able to get through? No, she's slowed down a little bit. How's the rest of the field? As you can see, everyone else has gone out on slick tyres. Now, are we going faster or slow? Let's look at the last laps. Wood posted a 131. Ignore that Ahmed lap. That was purely because he came out of the pits, so it was a rolling pit stop lap. Wood was able to do a 131. Looks like the rest of the field has gone a little bit faster. Let's see what happens here. Will Wood go faster in these conditions? That is the question. Wood does a 128. The fastest lap was a 125 by Delatov, who is on the intermediate tyres as well. So Delatov able to move up into 2nd spot from Senna Anna while we're watching Wood for that meantime, which means that he is now the pace setter. He has set the fastest, I wouldn't say the fastest lap of this race because I'm sure there was a faster lap set on dry tyres, but he is currently the fastest car out there, but by far. What rate is he catching? He is catching at a rate of about 0.1 second every time this updates. So he's closing the gap. Van Annen's going to pit. Delatub moves in the 1st position. I think we're going to leave him out there for now. As for Wood, I might, you know what? Wood goes through into 3rd, 2nd spot after just passing by Rogers just then. And we are going to get Wood to pit, not this lap, but the next. Actually, you know what? We're actually going to get Wood to pit this lap just to play it safe with the tyres. How are we looking? How's our... So the track is definitely going to dry out. So we are going to go around and go straight back to slicks. That's going to be the turn for us. As for fuel, 4 laps. That's what we want. No point doing an engine reliability check. It's going to take too slow of a stop to do. Are we happy with everything? Yes, we are. And pit. Now, what is the gap between Delatov to Wood? 22 seconds. So technically, I can pit Delatov now if I wanted to. In fact, I might do that because I feel like if the track dries out too fast, it's going to cost him some solid pace in that last lap. So let's get him to pit now. Let's go straight onto soft tyres. Let's have a look at his parts. Nope, he's all good there. Let's move up to 4 laps of fuel. Risk strategy, high mode, let's go. And roll with it. Let's see how we go with that stop. Delatov coming out and into the pits at first spot. Stop comes down. There was a bit of a mistake with the fuel. It was a bad stop for fuel, but good stop for tyres. 5.5 seconds in total. That clears Wood in terms of the pit lane. Wood's now going to come in as well. Let's get Delatov to get a medium. Wood is coming out in 4th position at least. 6th, 5th. Passes someone under the pits. And they've given us an extra lap of fuel again. They always seem to do that. I don't know why. He needs to pit for intermediates. I'm not going to pit for intermediates because we have just gone out on to slick tyres. Now, we probably could have gone one more lap, but I didn't want to risk it. And Wood's now currently being held up by 7th place Valdez. How was Delatov going? What I'm going to do is, I'm not going to put him into overtake mode until the last bit of the race because I want him to try and post the fastest lap, which is going to give us a bonus 2 extra points. In fact, let's have a look at the data center to see the fastest lap time. Fastest lap time, a 1:25. Van Annen's done a 1:23. A 1:23 by Dreyfus. So a 1:23 is the fastest lap time. So what we're going to do is, we are going to put him into overtake mode, but conserve the tyres. And when his fuel comes down to about 1 or 2 laps left, let's put him in a punch-out lap to see if he can maximise good tyres. Because at the moment he's got 83%. As you know, as the tyres do deteriorate, the slower the laps become. 25% is when the tyres really start to deteriorate. It's really slow for his lap times. But if I get around enough time while his fuel gets down there, we will be in a good spot to use it. How are we looking? He has 2 and a bit laps to go, so let's put on to medium now. Actually, you know what? He has heaps more to go. As for Wood, currently losing on the tyres in 7th position. Very happy with that. There's no one else around us at the moment in terms of the competition. Tyler, who's leading the championship, currently 18th position, struggling. Who else do we have? We also have Stramby. And there should be Costa as well. Costa, not up there. So it looks like all the front runners are in the back of the pack. Costa coming 16th. So we've really been able to maximise this race and pushing our points further ahead the rest of the field. Now what I might do here is I might put his tyres onto attack mode. He's got 73%. He's going to start the lap off with a fresh set. Let's see if we can punch the fastest lap time on the last lap. Hopefully he can. 1:23 is where we want to hit. He was fastest in that last sector for coming around, so he seems to be pumped up. That was his last lap, a 1:23.41. Unfortunately, we're going to get held up by Gatto, who's now trailing around the rest of the track. Hopefully we can just get by him. I'm not sure what is happening at the moment. He finally goes around. John Stoddard does a 1:20 while we were waiting. And we're going to have to go low strategy just to get Wood around. His fuel just started to eat up, didn't it? Wood has unfortunately been passed by Antonov. And unfortunately Ahmed is not going to get the fastest lap of the race. Purely because of that back marker. It looked good to go at the time. Unfortunately, it is not going to happen for us now. How is Wood going? Fuel is low. I don't know what is happening here. There is a bit of a glitch in this game where every time we get held up by the back marker, who's this person, the rest of the field gets stuffed up on it. So Wood gets through in 7th position. We didn't gain anything, but we didn't lose anything. Or did we go back to 8th? Yes, we actually gained 1 spot in that confusion. And we're going to finish the race in 1st and 7th. Bang, bang. Got to be happy with that result. Good way to end it. 13 cars to go. Let's speed up this race a little bit to get the rest of the field across. Gatto. Punch a tyre. That's the first time I believe we've seen a punch a tyre. He finishes the race in last position by about a lap down, I believe. Let's have a look at that tab. Can't click tab while it's loading. Make on the videos in terms of, do you want me to make the face cam bigger? Do you want the sound to be turned up? Do you want the microphone down? And I will happily oblige to assist you guys. Thanks again for watching, and be sure to check out the next set of races.